People ask me, what are the current cap rates? What are the current price per units in the area? How are people buying deals? Really, what's happening out there? So, since the beginning of the year, we've closed 10 different apartment complexes. So, we have 10 deals closed since January 1, 2026. And I have another 3 deals in escrow that are non contingent that are closing in the next 10 to 14 days. The data speaks volumes. On the lower end, we have a price per unit on a 32-unit building we sold in Boyle Heights, $87,000 a door. 20s construction, old school, rent control building, 7.15 cap. And we're seeing sub 100 a door prices on that type of product. I think the multiplier was around a little bit over 8 GRM. On the high end, we have a deal in escrow that's closing next Friday in the city of Rosemead for $2,930,000 for 5 units. Just under 600 a door. These figures go everywhere. There is no price per unit formula where people say this is what your building is worth price per door, or this is the cap rate that buildings sell for. If we look here on this chart, the cap rate that we have on the lower end of the spectrum is 4.0%. This was for a value add deal that we just closed at $326 a unit in Alhambra off of Main and Garfield. Really nice area on a street called Beacon. But it was a 4 cap from a very qualified buyer that's owned multiple buildings. They got a loan from Cathay Bank. They got the deal done. But on the lower end, that's the 4 cap. We have another deal closing next week in Huntington Park for a small 6 unit, and that's a 7.5 cap. So the cap rates are varying all throughout. A 20 unit that we sold in Whittier, $292 a unit. That's a big number. $292 a unit for an early 70s building. That one sold at slightly over a 5% cap rate. So we look at these deals, there's no real formula where you could kind of off the cuff say, oh yeah, your building, where is it? That's $250 a door. It's $300 a door. There's so many things that go into play on each particular building. The location. I've sold buildings where you're in a fantastic location, but around the corner, it looks like South Central. That gap in one block makes a big difference on the sales price. So all those things are taking into account the characteristics of the property. So from these 13 deals, 11 of these buildings were listings of mine. 2 of them I represented only the buyers. From the 13 deals, 9 of them were all cash. It's insane. I've never seen those type of metrics in my life. Before, I would say over the last 20 years, less than 20% of the deals we sold were cash. The 2 highest sales in here are a 20 unit in Whittier that we sold at $5,850,000, and then another 16 unit that we have closing in the San Gabriel Valley next week at a hair under $5.4 million. 5.8 and 5.4 million, both of those first-time buyers. They've never bought an apartment building ever in their life. They owe 0 experience. The market still has a lot of activity, but we are seeing a lot of people getting out. What did these people do when they sold their buildings? Some of them have stepped up in basis, some of them didn't. 10 out of the 13 cashed out. I don't think it's pretty, but they did it. They wanted nothing to do anymore with their apartments. So 10 were completely out. 1 of them went into a DST, a Delaware Statutory Trust, and 2 of the people got into different product types. One of them got into an industrial property, and then the other one a triple net in the East Coast. So this is what is happening right now. This isn't a chart that someone put together that is not in the trenches. I personally were involved in all of these deals. I know these deals upside down, and that's really the pulse of the market. So I wanted to make sure that I shared with you what I'm seeing out there. Buildings are being sold, but it's just interesting. There's a lot of cash coming through. One of the buyers that we had that picked up a 30-unit building that we closed on in the San Gabriel Valley, his portfolio consists of 22,000 units. A lot, ton of buildings. I've been after them to buy something, since I started selling buildings 20 years ago. He's back in the market. This guy hasn't bought anything for 20 years. He wouldn't even be interested to look at a building. But now they're buying. They just bought a building from me in San Gabriel Valley. They're buying other ones as well. So, there is some speculation that a lot of the large companies are coming in and trying to nudge their way into the mom and pop market. And all I could say is you really have to pick the position that you want. If you're going to stay in this game, you have to have the knowledge and you have to be ahead of the curve.